I have to go to the.
Yeah, I started it.
Good work.
Yay.
Okay, so come on. All right, let us start then with Q, also known as Quantavious. Let me pull up all of these. Give me a minute. And
These
there
are
we go.
cool.
All right, take it away, Q.
Hey Beth, hey Chip, appreciate y'all facilitating this. Paris, it is an honor.
Oh,
Uh, Honestly, I mean, this is one of those things where I've set aside my entire evening, like I've shut down. This has to happen because I've been working on this body of work for a long time. Before I even knew that I was actually working on this body of work, I was working on it as kind of a form of therapy in that I grew up without really having a family unit or like kind of understanding what home looked like. So as I got older and I became a father and started, especially being as a single father,
aw.
raising my daughter by myself, I wanted to figure out what home even looked like. It definitely uh, was a culture shock. As I started to kind of gravitate towards other people's homes, I realized I was not comfortable in my own home due to crazy circumstances. And I found that people are just weird, and it's great. It's fascinating because you can walk past dozens of people every single day, and you never know what's going on in this person's world or
Yeah.
how this person loves or what types of things they collect or the food they eat, all these different things. And it started out as an exercise in just kind of figuring out what type of home and life I wanted to build and
Mhm.
became this exploration of what's going on in other people's homes. And I really want when people when they see these, for them to not necessarily look at photographs of other people, but for them to be able to kind of find themselves in these pictures and see little things that remind them of their own home or their memories or, what's going on in their life. Um, and I guess that's the first thing that I really want to touch on here is I understand gallery spaces are sales spaces or the retail spaces, unlike museums, which are collections.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of makes me wonder like where this really fits. I know people don't necessarily buy photographs of other people that aren't of like historical importance. Um,
Not necessarily. I mean, these are
yeah,
really good, Q.
I appreciate that.
Okay,
I,
so
I mean,
let's,
I'm sorry.
I mean, that last picture is like an awesome picture. I mean, that's very cool. And your lighting is really good. Okay, finish your story and then we'll look at it again.
So I mean, and that's really the biggest thing is trying to figure out what direction to take these because um, I I really want to share this world with other people. I plan
Mhm.
on continuing this body of work regardless of whatever happens, today, next week, next year, whatever. As just I travel around the world and I want to see what's going on in people's homes. But I'm really interested in seeing what direction you think these could go in terms of like how they relate to other people. If there is a story here worth telling, I guess, from a journalistic standpoint, or if this is more so catered towards art collectors.
Yeah, I think your work's very good. What camera are you using?
Um, I am using my M7 for a lot of these,
Oh,
like
good
M7.
boy.
Indeed. Been
Okay.
using a Mamiya 7 II as well for medium format stuff, but I mean, I have this camera tattooed on my leg, so that's not going
Okay,
anywhere.
I'm sorry, please forgive me, everyone. I've been a little I just flew in from, we had our 100 years of Leica last night, so I just got in last night and I'm a little jet lagged and, exhausted, but I'm gonna start taking notes. So,
Sure.
this is really good. I think, so much about Leica is about street photography, and these are very street, very
Mhm.
much so. That I mean, the lighting is really good. The photos are great. I love how you were able to gain the trust of people to go in their homes and photograph them. And these are friends of yours or just random people?
Some of them are friends, some of them are strangers that I met in coffee shops, just kind of in passing, and we'll start a conversation. And within 20, 30 minutes, I'm back at their place and we're just hanging out.
Yeah, no, I think they're really good. I mean, I'm really loving like the third one in and the third one in and the bottom and the top, like those two are super cool. I
Mhm.
love like the whole so you're a single dad and then kudos to you. I'm also a single, I raised a son by myself. He's 21 now. That was the hardest
Sure.
thing I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of respect for single parents, so good for you. But I think these are really cool, and I think they're very Leica, and I think these would make an interesting show. I think the lighting's good. I think the whole composition's cool. I like what you did. I think they're really interesting, and I think it is an interesting idea to go in to look into people's homes, because I think everyone's a little bit of a nosy Parker on that tip. Like if somebody's windows are open, you're gonna look in. You know what I mean? It's like everyone
Exactly.
wants to see, or if you're in a beautiful neighborhood, you're always curious how someone's house is. You're gonna look in there. If you're in like even in a bad neighborhood, you want to see how people live, and I think that it's a very interesting and very hip story and very now. I think these are very Leica. And
Mhm.
where do you live?
I live in Atlanta.
So is everyone on the call today from Atlanta?
No.
No? Yeah, no, I think these would be a really interesting show. And one of the things I like to tell people, when they're trying to do shows, I'm assuming when people sign up to talk to me specifically, they're most likely interested in doing a gallery show if they're asking to see a gallerist as opposed to a publicist or something like that. And I think
Mhm.
that these are very much so gallery ready. And uh, right now, the way things are in the market, it's not like the best it's ever been, especially in LA, because everyone's house just burnt down, and it's definitely been a little bit of a different vibe here because of the fires and the election and the COVID. I mean, there's just so many things that kind of, there was like a writer's strike and a director's strike in LA. So LA is a little tough right now. And I know a lot of people, even in the movie industry, are taking the movies to Atlanta because they're getting better deals to film out there. So I think Atlanta is kind of hot right now. And I like to I will tell this to everybody. Don't wait to get into a gallery. Don't wait to be in like a gallery. We're like booked out for 2 to 3 years. Don't wait for a gallery. You need to get the work out if it's ready to get out. Like there's places in Atlanta that you could do your own. Like if you have you're talking about you're meeting these people in coffee shops. It'd be cool to put this up in a coffee shop.
Well,
Hang it
this
up
has
and,
actually been in several different galleries and
oh, it
museums at
has?
this
It's
point.
been
Mhm.
where? It's been
It's
where?
been so it's currently some of this is up at the Atlanta Photography Group Gallery. Some of
Oh,
it's
so
been
you're
at the
in
Museum of
galleries.
Contemporary Art.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, this is like really great work. I love it. I wish I could show it.
Mhm.
Yep. And let me brag on Quantavius. He recently was the recipient of a Houston Museum of Fine Art Award. It was the Purchase
Oh my
Award.
God, I love that.
They purchased one of his images for their permanent collection.
Two of them.
Two.
Mhm.
So you're already an artist. So but which I think I think this would be a really cool art book
Mhm.
Mm.
to start, because there's so much about the stories in these photos. It would be almost like interesting to maybe have like a little paragraph of all of the people's story. A lot of
Mhm.
galleries like to take in people that already have a book. I know Fahey Klein's
Mhm.
one of our best galleries here, and they never do a show unless you have a book with it. I'm not that
Mhm.
way. Usually people will, because I like to work with emerging artists also. So sometimes people won't have a book ready. So I think these would be like a really super cool, interesting book. And I mean, I really think these are great. And no wonder I'm sorry I didn't have time to read everybody's information beforehand. And sometimes I prefer not to. Because usually when I do portfolio reviews, it's live and people just show up with their work and I kind of go from there and find out about them. And I actually prefer that. So I'm not knowing what to expect or what to say. I just
Mhm.
want to go on my intuition when I'm seeing something. But I think these are amazing, beautiful photos, and I love that they're shot on Leica. You could tell they're shot on Leica. The coloring and the way you laid them out's perfect.
Mhm.
And I think what you have here is very, very gallery ready. And so you're in museums. I love that. What museum again?
So I've got some work up at the Museum of Fine Art in Houston. The Museum of Contemporary Art here in Georgia has collected some things. I've shown work at the Griffin Museum in Winchester, right outside of Boston. Several different galleries at the Art Gallery of Alberta actually showed a few of these pieces. So yeah, these have been places.
Yeah, no, I really like your work. I want to keep in touch with you because I think this is something, these feel very very like a
Sure.
gallery. And we have 29 galleries around the world, but again, you have to be specific. I think these make sense to be shown in America. I'm trying to figure out how to maybe, a lot of times I'll do group shows where we could put some pieces in. So, cause it's like our wait list is out the door right now. We're about 2.5, almost 3 years out for shows, but I really, really love what you're doing. I think, I don't really think you need my advice, except that you're like, these are incredible. I'm very like pleased looking at them. I love everything about these photos. They're great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, that's really the advice I needed because sometimes I don't think about these as like oh, I'm going to continue doing this for the purpose of like fame or anything like that. I just love hanging out with people, and it's
No,
kind
I
of an
think these
excuse
are good.
to
No,
shoot these.
well, it's good not to think that way, but I don't see why that wouldn't or couldn't happen for you because they're that good. I mean, they're really great. I love them.
I appreciate that.
I mean, I just think your composition and lighting is just incredible. How long have you been
Yeah,
doing photos? I'm loving like how on that last bottom left-hand corner, there's like the cleaning product above there. I mean,
mhm.
that's just like so
That one?
real. And I just,
Yep.
it's just so cool. It's just so, I mean, they're very, very hip photos.
Yeah.
And
I just happen to
obviously,
meet them. They live down the street from me.
yeah, and obviously people like you and trust you because not a lot, I mean, it would take a real, I don't think I would say yes to someone to come out. You feel like self-conscious, you have to tidy up and clean and stuff. It's cool that people are so open with you. And who is this woman?
She's a friend who I met through another friend, and she just happened to be getting ready for work that day. So a lot of these, I shoot film, so I'm shooting 1 or 2 rolls of film, and I've got her whole morning making breakfast, doing her hair, all these different things, and we just talked about the stuff we had planned for the day.
It's really good. So what do you see or what do you want to do?
I want to take
This is
these
my favorite
international.
photo. This is like, I mean, it's incredible.
That's a friend of mine named Christian. She was going through a whole lot. She told me a year before this photo that she was going to shave her head. And then she tweeted it. I said, "Hey, don't you dare do that unless you call me first." And sure enough, a year almost to the day, she was like, "All right, it's time. Like,
It's
what are you
like a
doing right
perfect
now?"
photo.
Mm,
You
yeah,
know,
she had to shed all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. So like just you explaining that kind of would be interesting to go with the even if you do an art show or a book, like if they're like even on your price list, you're telling a little, it would be interesting to add a little blurb about that person because I think it's
Mhm.
the people are so interesting. Like even if it was in the price list, like this is my friend getting, this is a woman that was getting ready to change her life, so she wanted to shed her hair. It would be interesting to add some verbiage into your photos.
One
Do you
minute.
She actually
ever
comes
photo.
out to LA too.
do you ever enter any competitions to win photo awards? Like, because there's a lot of competitions around that you can win prizes for things.
Oh yeah, I enter calls for entry often. That's really the goal right now, just to keep these going and put them all over the place and get just them in front of other people.
Have you heard of the International Photography Awards?
I actually entered them last week.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. I'm a juror for that.
Nice.
Which one did you put in? I love this photo.
Was it color?
Color? Well, your color is, I mean, probably was,
Funny
right?
enough, I'm actually colorblind.
Are you?
I am red-green colorblind. Um,
That's
I,
you,
I tried to join the
you,
Marine Corps as a scout sniper, and turns out I'm colorblind. I can't do the dot test, so they were like, "Yeah, no, you're not doing that." So I
are
use
you,
film instead of digital.
are you doing, photography full time?
I also work with KEH, so I buy and sell cameras, but this is my thing. I do this all the time.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
that's the timer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. That was,
Yeah, keep in touch with me. I could see I want to, I just, there were so many great photos around in New York and I could just see those being part of like something like that. You're really good.
Hey, I
Really,
appreciate
really
it. I just
good.
followed you on Instagram as well.
Okay, cool. I love, I have, I unfortunately, my camera didn't work, so coming in at a really weird angle. Hello, sir. But I'm sorry about that, but I can't check my phone until we're done. So I'll follow you back when I see you later. I loved meeting you. I love your name. I love your work.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah.
excellent. So now we're gonna look at the work of Lisa Reisman. And Lisa, let me pull these up and get us started. And
Hello.
Pretty, hi.
So, I'm one of those that can never decide on anything. And
Okay.
I have so many different things that I can't narrow anything down. So I have two different things that I'm doing. I go to the beach a lot, and I always end up taking my camera with me when I go on walks. So I always end up with seagulls, pelicans, storms or not. So with this set, I decided to crop them in non-traditional ways.
Mhm.
On film, I was very much a purist. If it's in the frame, it's in the frame, period. What you shoot is what you get. But with this digital stuff, everyone's telling me, go crazy with your crops, do interesting things, focus on parts of the frame. So I tried that with these birds.
Okay,
So that's where, and then I also muted everything. There's a little tonality to it, and it's not consistent throughout, because the temperatures were so radical during this particular day. And
Like this-
but okay, look,
wait, one second, downstairs behind the front desk. Sorry, go ahead, Lisa. Sorry, I'm in the gallery and we're still open, so but it's slow to skip. I love this color one.
well, these are color manipulations.
Okay,
I use, every beach sunset looks like a beach sunset. This is two beach sunsets, and with different, color reversal, digital solarization, and just different kinds of effects to really amplify the feeling and the mood. This was literally the dark clouds moving in on a stormy day. I just amplified the difference between them with the color manipulation. And this is film. I've been scanning all my film, and this was a roll of color that I could not get the color right, but you know what? I love it like that.
yeah, what is this, a bear?
It's a gorilla.
A gorilla?
Zoo.
A real gorilla?
A real gorilla. This is
Okay.
from the 80s. I don't even
All right.
remember. We skipped school from art school, from our photo class, and I talked everybody into going to zoo instead of going to photo class.
Yeah,
And so we showed up to the next photo class and all with zoo pictures, and Stuart was like, now I know where you were. So it was kind of fun. And I always take pictures out the window when I'm flying. Caught the
I do
bus
too.
mid-bridge, and nice grain and lighting. I like that mood.
yeah.
Um,
Do you fly a lot?
yeah. And this is film of me holding my old Olympus while I'm driving,
Okay,
and extended exposures, and I just stacked them up and manipulated the colors as it's driving in the rain. And
right,
so I'm trying all these different things, trying to nail on a method
right.
that
Okay, so,
doesn't look
yeah, no.
80s.
so was everybody supposed to just give 10 pictures? Is that how it works?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, limited
Yeah, I
to
know,
10.
which is never enough to really show a series,
Right.
like, so, which is not enough for you guys, but it's still, you should. I think the thing, like, I understand what you mean. There's a few things all over the place, and you need advice which direction to go, what maybe is a stronger work. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of liking, because there are like 4 different things I'm seeing here.
Mhm.
So I think that I definitely love your seagulls, and I think that the world's such a mess and so hard right now that people are kind of gravitating to some, like I do sell a lot of like scenic, pretty kind of, meditative kind of work like this. Like it's a soft and easy to look at. So like people want to see things like that in their office, and it's de-stressful looking at pictures like this. I think it would be cool to, if you're going to be working with the different size of the print, which is modern and hip, but I would really consider working with some really cool framing with those photos, because you can't. I think when you're going to do different sizes like this, it's all about the framing as well, how it would make it look really cool. If you're going to do
Gotcha.
something like skinny and vertical like that, you want to have some really cool framing on it, or maybe even have it on acrylic and make it look really clean. with no frame or like a really beautiful white frame. It's all about the framing when you're gonna start doing different kind of sizing like that for me.
Okay.
But you know, but you also want to be able to sell the print by itself. Now, the two pictures on the bottom left, those are kind of like another type of series. Maybe you could fit the far right one in that series as well. And if it almost feels like mixed media to me, which I think is also something interesting at the moment with photography. I'm kind of interested in looking at more mixed media this year to try
Okay.
to sell some of that. So I think that's kind of cool. And you can almost maybe go a little even more drastic if you're going to start manipulating the color like that. You can even maybe make it look a little even more colorful and manipulate it if you're going to use that technique. But I like them. I think you're onto something. So it's kind of like the beach and serenity kind of photos. Maybe with the color, you're doing a little bit more exaggerated color. So if you're going to do that, I would even exaggerate the color a little more.
Okay. I
And
have those.
and then what's that?
I have more like that.
Yeah, no, I think they're interesting. I think that they'd be really nice blown up large, you know, like it would be a big
Yeah.
40 by 60 piece that could be interesting. And then
Yeah.
there's the photo of the bridge. Kind of like this photo, this kind of photo is interesting to me. I almost like this photo the most for some reason. Because I think it's just, I like the colors and I like that I like pictures from planes, but you need to complement it. Did you have a question, sir? Hi.
I
Oh,
like listening. I like
yeah, no,
listening.
no, yeah. Oh, okay. This is, and your name?
David.
Dave, you can come say hi. This is
Okay.
Dave, everyone. You have to wave over here. Dave's just walking around the gallery. He's like, I like
Hi,
listening
Dave.
to you. I go, can I help you? He's like, I like listening to you.
Oh, no.
I
I
know.
like seeing
So this, you know, doing portfolio reviews from some lovely people in Atlanta. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah, no, it's cool, right?
No, it's
So,
very cool.
so I mean, but again, like to complement this work, you need more images. So when you're
Right.
gonna do a portfolio review, I know you probably didn't, you're saying you did a few different things. I think it would be better to, because you have so many different kind of things we're looking at, you really needed to put 10 of the same thing to make it stronger, personally. Like I would have rather seen 10 of this, like the seagulls, but in different angles and maybe some other things you had, or like 10 of the manipulated beaches.
It's hard because
I
we
would
don't
have
get these very often, so
yeah, no,
it's
but I think
yeah.
next time you do, and you should do it. I mean, you could tell that you love photography and you're out there shooting, so you should get them more often. And I think though, when next time you do a review, keep it could have been, I would have suggested two series, 5 of the seagull and 5 of the manipulated beach. Then it doesn't,
Okay.
because sometimes when you're all over the place, it's hard to give a proper critique. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the gorilla doesn't fit in at all.
Yeah.
So you don't want to show, unless you're going to take a lot of pictures of animals, you don't need to show the gorilla in this series.
Okay.
But I would have maybe added 2 more of, like the seagulls are cool, and then 2 more of the manipulated beach scenes. Then it kind of has more of a flow, and it's not as all over the place, if that makes any sense. But I think
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does.
I like your work, and I think that the seagulls are really a good idea right now, because I think at my gallery, we do sell a lot of landscapes and soft kind of photos like that, because you know, Leica is so famous for being street photography, but no one really wants to see starving kids in Brooklyn right now. I mean, or in
Yeah.
Harlem right now, you know, nobody's going to put that in their dining room. So people are kind of gravitating to this pretty kind of work.
Mhm.
And maybe just, I think it would be good to keep the sizing a little more similar, so it all looks really cohesive. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
I would put
absolutely.
I put the 2 verticals together, because for me
Yeah.
as a curator, I'm looking at what would sell. Like we want to put, when I'm doing a layout or I'm curating a room, I want to put the pictures together where they make sense. So someone would want to buy more than one. So they look really lovely next to each other and complement each other. So I would put like those 3 exactly the same size, keep those 2 verticals exactly the same size, and kind of show it that way. Because the
Gotcha.
2 verticals could even be like a one piece that could be a cool diptych. Because that's kind of a pretty thing to show work like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
okay.
but I'm glad you signed up and thank you. And I know it's your first time, but you want to keep it tighter series when you're showing someone with such a small amount of photos.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
absolutely.
Yeah, but I like what you're doing. I think they're really pretty. I think these are really pretty. I like the white, because that's kind of like so the majority of your work. Obviously, you picked that out. That's probably what you're gravitating to do more of because you said you go to the beach a lot. So stick to that. Stick to the
Yeah.
beach stuff. And
Okay.
and then maybe later on work more a little bit on which would be the stronger series, which is that like the pictures from the airplane. That could be
Mhm.
kind of a cool series also. But you want to start thinking of your work when you're showing it to get reviews and getting advice as series. So right
Right.
now I've got 4 series and 10 pictures.
Right.
So you
Okay.
want to,
2 minutes.
it should have been 5 and 5, but now
Gotcha.
you know. Right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, and also I would do, if you're gonna manipulate color,
Mhm.
really go for it and make it like even pop more. Cause I don't mind when people do that. I just would think you could have done a little more there.
All right. Sounds great.
How do I know when it's time? I feel bad if I should be going to
is-
stop or what?
Chip is,
I'm shouting it out. I shouted out 2 minutes. I hope people heard
No.
about 30 seconds ago. So we have about a minute left.
I hope that helped,
Yeah.
Lisa. Yeah, no, but I would have done 5 and 5 for the next review.
Yeah. I did have that, but then I thought, well, I second guess
okay.
myself all the time.
You're learning
Yeah. It's been a
and
while.
shooting and keep shooting. It's really pretty what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
okay, so now we're gonna look at the work of David Hedges. And let me get this set up for us. And we'll begin with this first one. David, you want to tell us a little bit about this and what you're looking for?
Sure. Well, thank you, Paris.
Hi, David.
I'm going to read a small portion of my artist statement.
Okay.
And this series is titled Truth Lies in the Shadows. Most of my work is of formalistic nature, looking at shape, line, light and dark, and shadow. And shadows craft a unique kind of mark. And a quote by the curator James Meyer very well describes my thoughts. Hello?
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, all right. Shadows craft a unique kind of mark, and a quote by curator James Meyer very well describes my thoughts. A shadow is both benign and threatening. Its presence or absence a favorable or dark omen. The most compelling shadow images vacillate between naturalistic depictions and abstraction, realism, and distortion. Figures projected onto a background are an object of mystery, undefined and ambiguous. And I find myself pushing away from, but towards, and I find myself pushing not away from, but toward the mystery. So, Paris, questions I have for you. How do these images work as individual entities? Do these images work together as a series? Suggestions for the series? Impressions of this work? And where might I go with these ideas? Other artists I might look at that will push me in new directions? And that's it.
Hi, David. Thank you. That was a beautiful artist statement. I really like your work. I think it's cool. I see a lot. I like when people are working with the light and the shadow. I think they're very architectural. I could see these hanging in office buildings, like in a lawyer's build, and the lawyers kind of like, I think they're like commercial. So, and I think they should be blown up big.
Ah,
Yeah, I wouldn't put these small, these shouldn't be small. These kind of pictures need to be big. This is like I don't know if Lisa's still listening or not, but this is what I mean about being cohesive, how they all kind of are a series. And I know I don't, when people are doing portfolio reviews, they want to just show what they're doing and get advice, but this is definitely telling a story of what you do. And I think they're very cool. And I like the one photo where you added a little bit of touch of red in there. And I like, the one on the top right. I like this piece, how it's kind of added a little pop of color in it off to the side. And I think it would be, you know, sometimes I think with work, you know, there's a lot of people doing photography, but you always want to have like some little niche that's different than everybody else that's doing. Because a lot of times we all like steal each other's ideas or have mentors and we want to be like so-and-so, so things can kind of start looking the same. But if you could have like just like a little of something that makes you different, like is it William Allard who always has a picture of him somehow in the photo? Like whether it's a shadow in the puddle of water or it's like a picture of the glass cat, he's in the back of the cafe or his foot's in the picture, like he somehow has a little bit of him in there and that's his niche. So I think what this would be, I think maybe it would be interesting if like in your photos, you somehow have that little pop of color to make it a little different, you know? Because but I think what you're doing is very, very cool and very hip. Are you a full-time photographer?
No.
What else do you do?
I'm a retired music educator. I did that for
Oh.
35 years, so this is what I consider a passion right now.
Yeah, no, I really like, what camera are you using?
It's a old Nikon. It was my, I always say graduation present. When I retired, it was what I bought. It's a Nikon D7000.
Well, I think they're really great photos, and I think maybe you could try to sell I think, like I say, I'm really big on this now with people not waiting around for a gallery to try to sell their work. Because right now I'm taking it's been so weird in LA, because everyone's just calling me to get you know, estimates for what burnt down and how much is things to replace. And but there is a need for these kind of pictures. I see these kind of pictures when I go out. I could see these hanging in a restaurant. I could see them hanging in a law office. I could see them hanging in a, you know, in the lobby of a building. I mean, these are cool pictures. I think they're very masculine. So, you know, you want to, I think that it would be wise to target like a male kind of, I think these are, you can tell this is a man that took these photos. You know, so I think maybe I feel like they're a masculine buyer would buy these photos.
Okay.
You're shaking if you're shaking your head.
Not
But,
intentionally.
no, but you know, but honestly, the thing that stuck out the most when I look at all of this is that like pop of blue in the bottom left, the second to the left in, and then the little red and white line. I think if you somehow added like a little pop of color, then it could kind of be your thing to make it a little bit different. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, the blue space was a very intentional thing
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, I like that there's that little tiny sliver of color here and there, and even in the black and white, predominantly black and white pieces.
Right.
And I do think that they're you know, I mean, I think with everyone's art, it should be seen. It should be hung somewhere and you should put it somewhere so that people can see it and not just be showing it to me or having it in your house and in your computer, but everything should be out. So
Right.
however you could get the work up and hanging somewhere is what you need to be doing. You know what I mean? Like even this one, like there's like the little bit of yellow at the top. There's color. There's a little sliver of yellow in this one. So there's a little pop of color in all your work. And I kind of like that. Like even there's the blue over there in the background. I think that's kind of a interesting thing that you're using with your photographs. And that's kind of popped out to me. So even if there was even a more little bit of cover here, this one's completely neutral, but I like how you've added that little bit of color somewhere. So that could maybe be something you do that makes it a little more unique than maybe someone else taking photos like this, you know? And like you have the blue there. So everything kind of has a little color in that. And that's the one thing that's making it somewhat you know, unique to me.
Good. Yeah. Allard, you said William. How do you spell that
William
name?
Allard, Allard. I'm pretty sure it's William Allard, but his thing is that he always has himself in the photo. So sometimes people always like Alan Schaller. He's another one you should look up Alan Schaller. He's very much into like his this type of photography, but he makes his black so black that's kind of been his thing. You'll see when you see the photos. Yeah, but he makes the black so intense that's kind of what's made his work stand out from other people's work that's similar to the, you know, angular architectural work.
Right.
But
That
this
last
one's
one again, Paris, Alan.
Alan Schaller, Schaller. And he has a huge following, but the thing that's made his photos really pop and stick out is that way he manipulates the black in his photography.
Huh.
And that's what made him sort of different. When you're
Wow.
doing this kind of work, because it's very I love this kind of work, but a lot of people do this. So you want to do something a little different than everybody else is doing that makes yours stand out just a little more. When I think with yours, it might be that little pop of color. What is this? No, what is this?
I refer to that as the sarcophagus.
What what was it though?
I was standing under an overpass, and these
Oh.
were just the gaps that come down where the water flows to. So
Yeah.
I took it, and with the reflections come with the whatever that was called, the shadows coming through and the light beams, and then I turned it upside down. So
I like it. So did you manipulate any of the color there?
not much. No, this is pretty, I do manipulate, of course. But this is pretty much straightforward. And with the monotonalities, those are not black and whites. I mean, that is pretty much the color I go with. So that's been something that's been fun too.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. And well, I mean, why don't you try to obviously you'd like to sell these, right? To have people buy these.
That would
So
be
I
nice.
mean, what about if do you have somewhere to hang them that do you have a friend that has a law office, or you said you were in the music business, you taught music, like a music school, like get them in the halls of wherever you used to work, like where you have connections where you can get them up and print them up and hang them and try to do shows for you. I'm really into people trying to get their own. I gave this advice to somebody else recently, and I said, go down the road. I said, there's so many, the nicest design stores all over the area that I'm in West Hollywood. And he actually left here after I told him that. And he went over to a design place that sells like really high-end furniture, and they're hanging his art in there now. And he's going to do an art show. Yeah. So it's, like maybe try like a really high-end furniture store. Where do you live?
I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in Atlanta right now. Atlanta's getting a lot of business out there with the movie business and music business. So maybe you could find like somehow, but it's like maybe if you had a friend that has a law offices or even a doctor's office, and try to hang them in there, get them up and out for sale with like your information on there, your artist statement that you wrote, and try to hang them somewhere and have people look at them.
That would be great. I have been very fortunate to have at least 3 of these at APG, Atlanta Photography Gallery.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, they've been curated in there, and hopefully I will have more of these and some others. In fact, I was working on a call for entry this morning for our.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
you're doing it.
Pardon?
Yeah, but look up Alan Schaller's work. You'll know what I mean. So maybe if you could just like exaggerate some of the color in some of these pictures, it might be interesting.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay. Paris, one question. When I've had people look at it before, when you have a series like this, do you have a problem with going with the monotonalities and the black and white and the color mixed?
No. I love black and white, but I don't have a problem with it at all. I think they're really cool. I see these being really blown up large.
Okay.
I don't think these are pictures that should be like 16 by 20. They wouldn't do them any justice. You'd have to, it might be good if you printed one out really large and took it to a design place to try to sell them for you, and you split it with the person. I think you should be hanging these in like maybe like a really hot modern furniture store in Atlanta, and just get it out there. I always tell people also start locally. You're there. You don't want to like have to be dealing with sending your work all over the place and shipping and all that. That gets expensive. So you have your printer. Your printer I would take maybe I think that one with the red's really cool. I really like that one, and blow it up. What's your favorite one?
That one and the first one and that one and probably what I call the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And then the other one.
I would blow one up, like, maybe maybe even like a 30 by 40 and frame it in a black frame and take it to some high-end design place and see if they'd be willing to hang and help you sell it.
Great idea.
You know,
Okay.
don't wait for galleries. I said that, I mean, they're like everyone's like years out.
Yeah.
And then that's the way you get into galleries. When galleries are seeing you're hanging here, you're hanging there, and people are buying it, that's what galleries want to see.
Right.
You know, that you're selling it on your own. I mean, I have a guy that's selling $15,000 prints on Instagram. He didn't need a gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Time's up.
Exactly.
Oh,
Well,
it was
thank you,
so nice
Sharon.
to meet you, David. I hope that was
Thank you.
helpful.
All right. Very helpful.
Okay, so next we are going to look at the work of Colin Ward.
Wow.
Let me get this all set up. Yeah. And Colin, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the project and also what kind of information you're looking to get from Paris?
Okay, can you hear me all right?
I
Yes.
can.
Good.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Paris. Thanks for this, the
Yeah, no,
opportunity.
my pleasure.
I generally photograph people, and I do some portrait work and fun stuff, but I try to be upbeat and try to be entertaining, but I'm not sure how saleable some of my work is. So the ones I put together here in this grouping, the people tend to be more anonymous, and maybe somebody might like to look at it even though they don't know the person. It's not their niece or whatever. So my question, I guess, is, do you think these are saleable? Should they be shown in any particular place? Or is trying to sell photos of people pretty unlikely? So that's my basic question. Some of these were in my studio, and some obviously are out on the street. So have at it.
So you have a studio? Are you a full-time photographer?
No, I'm not. I'm retired. I'm a retired engineer, actually, but
Oh, right on.
I had a studio in Florida. Now I have one in Athens, a small one.
Well, okay, so here, you know, I personally have a tough time selling portraits. I mean, we had like like some of the best portraiture photographers in the world, and you know, they do all these celebrities and you know Lenny Kravitz and Nicole Kidman, but no one's gonna buy a picture of Nicole Kidman except for Nicole Kidman's mom or husband, or do you know what I mean? So if you're gonna be doing portraits, it has to be really interesting and artsy. So can we look at them all together again, all laid out together? I like what you're doing, but like the most interesting sellable, you're asking what's sellable for fine art would be the bottom right second in with the girl with the clouds. That one is like a fine art photograph. I think this is like this is your best photo. I think you could do, I think maybe you want to maybe do some, and I do like the middle photo with the hats. That's interesting. You know, that's kind of an interesting artsy photo. Nudes, I cannot sell nudes and I don't know why. I love nudes. I think they're beautiful. And I think that they're so much a part of what art is about. But for whatever reason, this gallery does not sell nudes. And I've tried to, but we just don't. So I personally steer clear of nudes. And I'm also sick of looking at naked women. I'd rather see some naked men than look at any more naked women. That's as someone who looks at photos all day long. Do you know what I mean? It's like the most standard thing for people to do is the nudes, which I understand why people do them and I understand why people like them, but I can't personally, they're hard to move. And I'm glad you're asking because you know, portraitures are hard to move unless they're like really artistic, like that one, which is really gorgeous. And I really love the whole silhouette idea. I mean, it's almost a very perfect photo. I mean, they're all really pretty photos. You could tell, you know, you're a good photographer. I like your concept. I like your ideas. These for me personally would, except for that one photo, would be probably a hard sell. But that doesn't mean that's another gallery wouldn't be able to sell them if there's some galleries that just sell portraits. I don't know what it is here. I think maybe because Leica's so much about the street and a lot of stuff going on in one photo than the singular subject. But I think that they're really good photos. I like what you're doing. I almost would rather see you do a whole series of the silhouettes over there.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I know the issue. So
And I also am giving a lot of advice about, I'm sure you probably don't really want to photograph naked men, but if you're going to photograph naked women, it's really a good idea to also have some nude men, just because I can't tell you how many naked women I look at. It's like so many photographers do nudes, and I see so many nudes. So I've been doing this for 25 years. So I'm like, but I'm just so glad you don't have a nude lady on the rock, because I just can't see another nude lady on the rock. I just won't. Please, I hope no one's showing me some nude ladies on the rock, but it just seems like that's some weird fascination with people that they want to photograph this. So it's hard for me to keep looking at that over 25 years of looking at photographs. I do personally want to see interesting things. I do want to see things that are new. I do want to see something that's telling a story. And I like your stories. I do love the girl on the stairs. I do love the lady on the stairs. That is a beautiful photo.
good.
I mean, I think, and there's like a very artistic element about it, but I would want to see more of that type of work mixed in with a little bit of male nude, or maybe even a little bit more body parts instead of like a full portrait. Like maybe if you could just focus a little bit more on some of the close-ups of the female form, I think that would be more interesting. Like even if it was just like, hands or her hips, not just a full nude. I'd rather see like
Right.
sectioned off kind of abstract nude work.
Right.
And I actually think that lady on the mountain with the clouds could be a really interesting fine art series of people dancing on that hill in silhouettes. That would be cool to me
Hmm.
and different, because there's something really beautiful and perfect about that photo. And it's my favorite photo of all of these. But you know what? You don't have to listen to me. You could just do portraits all your life. And that's what makes you happy. It's just, for me, for some reason, it's hard to sell. But I do, there's a guy I know, he's one of my favorite portrait guys. His name, he's a teacher. He teaches he was teaching at the University of Miami. He studied with Maggie Stieber, and he assisted Greg Gorman. And Greg Gorman does a lot of look up Greg Gorman. He does a lot of male nudes. Well, his work, he does a lot of celebrity work, but he did a lot of male nudes. And so this guy, Sean Black, I think you can find him on Instagram or Facebook, or I can send you some information about him afterwards. Something about his portraits float my boat. And they're very simple, but they're just kind of what I like to see in a portrait. But I would recommend you doing a series more of the body, like the second one in from the left. So the two that I'm really gravitating towards is the woman on the stairs and the lady on the hill. But that actually could be a whole series where you have all these different random people on that hill with that beautiful lighting, doing different dance moves or different poses or whatever. But that would be a really cool series.
Okay.
I would do more of those.
Yeah. So obviously the silhouette is an anonymous person, and somebody I think would be more inclined to want to have that on their wall than somebody recognizable.
Yeah, can you blow that one up, please? Can you bring that one up? I mean, that is just so pretty. I could see that someone having that in their living room or in their bedroom. It's a beautiful photo. I
Mhm.
think this would be a really cool, I think this would be a really interesting series, Colin, if you had more people doing stuff like that, not necessarily on the same hill, but kind of like with them back, like with the background like that, and them doing
Mhm.
different kind of dance moves, or even
Mhm.
like a couple kissing or hugging or something. I think that would be really beautiful.
Okay, well, I do have some more of those. I didn't think to put them together, but
Yeah, no, that would be a really pretty series. I would like to see something like that.
okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can't dig up some more like that and make a series out of it.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, your strongest. And you know what? I know people love doing portraits, and I could understand why. It's such an interesting thing to take someone's portrait. I love it. But if you're talking about what's sellable, what's fine art, what would be good in a gallery, you need to have a bit of a stronger series. And for me, that's the stuff that would work.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, and I will go to work on that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Keep in touch. I want to see them.
Okay.
I would want a portrait of Lenny Kravitz, but it was only me who wanted the portrait. I was the only one that seemed to want that portrait. Everybody else didn't want to see that. Okay.
I don't know him.
He's a Leica shooter. He actually did a show here. Very talented guy. Oh, these are cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Nat Segebra.
Okay.
If I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Nat.
It's it's a Hebre, but most people say Sagabre if they do say it.
Sagabre. Sagabre?
Nat. Oh, Nat. Oh, I thought, okay. I thought it was going to be a dude. Nat. That's cool. So is it short for Natalie?
It's Natasha, but most people know.
Natasha?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm already loving these.
Thanks.
Very cool. What are you shooting with?
Mamiya 7.
Everyone loves that camera. Okay, these are great.
Thank you. So basically these are from a long-term documentary project I've been working on about Coney Island for the past 3 years. When I lived in New York, I just moved back to South Florida where I'm from, but when I did live in New York, I basically had like a Saturday pilgrimage during the summers, and I would go every Saturday and essentially spend the day and night photographing there. And these are all darkroom prints, and I don't like adjust the color or contrast in post. I actually have them all next to me so I could show you that the color is actually the same as like the scan. But my goal with the work primarily is to get a photography book published. I love photography books as objects. Really, my goal as a photographer, my dream, it would be I could just live life making books on places or people or communities and just have a book be like that object to represent the work.
Mhm.
But of course, like having it shown publicly, galleries, that's of course like a cool plus. And I would of course,
Yeah.
but book is like my primary goal. And so I guess with that in mind, I have two separate questions. My first one would be about long-term projects in general. And since you've looked at so many projects and photographs over the years, I'm wondering, when you look at projects, what for you splits, or not splits, what's the word? Differentiates a project that you think this is comprehensive, it's done the place justice, it is completed, versus maybe some project that you see that this project needs more time, whether that's actually photographing more or if it's sitting with the work more and sequencing more. But I guess what for you what kind of the difference there between projects that you think are like done and comprehensive versus ones that are not.
Right.
And then my second question would be, obviously Coney Island has been like somewhere it's been photographed a lot, and not just quantity, but a lot of formative images have been made there. And I think of like Harvey Steen, Bruce Davidson, Bruce Gilden, to name a few.
Yeah.
A lot of that work is black and white, and I feel that it's certainly like kind of defined how we remember and also see Coney Island, even if we're there today and it's very colorful and vibrant, we almost see it in like that grungy, like, Brooklyn, New York, like black and white. And
Mhm.
obviously mine is very vivid, very, not so more clean, maybe you'd say. But I wonder how you think, with that in context, how you think that maybe affects the way my series is read, or where it maybe fits within that, since I'm photographing somewhere that is so well known and so well documented. And
Yeah.
I guess those
Well,
two questions.
Well, I've worked with Bruce Gilden. I actually have that book, Coney Island. I love that book. and he's hilarious, that guy.
Yeah.
I love him. He's a big Leica shooter. So I think that I love these, and I think that they're very ready. I totally see this being a book. I think that it's great having Coney Island photographed in color, because amusement parks are so colorful, and I love, of course, the vintage black and white books. And one of my favorite books is Susan Meisel's Carnival Strippers. I love that book, but I could only imagine it would have been incredible in color, But I think but the way she shot him with the grainy, that's like some of my favorite work right there. But I think what you're doing is amazing, and I love these photos a lot. And I think that you definitely should do a book, and I think you're very much ready to do a book. And I'm sure you have a million more pictures and you didn't even know which ones to pick to show me. But and I want that. So this is the thing. So this is how, for everyone to know, like, this is what you would consider a comprehensive show. Everyone's great, but this makes sense. It's like everything. If you're only going to show 10 pictures, make it a series. Because you need to, make it a series and make it look like that's what you're focusing on. And you've been shooting this for a really long time, so that's what you've been focusing on. So I love what you're doing. I wish you were shooting with Leica. You know what? You should enter the Leica Women Photo Project so you can win a Leica next year. So I think, and these are very much what we look for. So you should enter that competition. And then, what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was like, I have an M6 actually, and I do.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay, good. No, I really love your work. I really love what you're doing. And I love that. I love the way that the camera is printed. I love the way it looks like that. Unfortunately, our pictures don't come out like that. I love that you left them so raw. What size book are you thinking?
So I would say at least like I want it to be somewhere between like a coffee table book and a like small book, because I want it to be, like something that can be handled by someone and actually enjoy the work without feeling like it's this giant object. But I
Yeah.
do want the work to have the room to like be viewed and like, oh wow, like give it the attention it deserves. So I mean the originals, like these are 12 by 14 inches, and this is what I printed.
Okay. Yeah, that's the size book, right?
Yeah, like I would want them at least to be viewed this big just so you can
12
appreciate.
by 14. Yeah,
Yeah.
so how many pictures do you have in this series?
I mean, I've a lot, but I would say the ones I've narrowed down to like, I think these are to be in conversation. I think these could be in the book would maybe be 50 or 60. But I'm actually
Have you talked to anyone yet?
not yet. No,
Yeah, I think they'd be I think this would be an amazing book.
okay, cool.
I wish I made books. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get more. I have so many books. I just got this. We have Mona Kuhn coming in September. She has 7 books with Steidel, and
Wow.
we love books here. We sell a lot of books.
Yeah.
But I think this is just a cool. There's as much as I have seen Coney Island photos, there's something very fresh about these.
Oh, thank you. That's
And
very
I think that it's a really good time in the world for young women to be doing this business, which has been so male dominated for so many years. So it's a good time for you to be doing this, And not to say anything that's wrong with the guys. We love the guys too, but like it's just been it's so male. It's one of the most male dominated occupations I can think of personally. Is it you when you think of like the greats, and still when we're showing photos at Leica, it's always these men. Like we even get people telling us you only show white privileged men. So I mean, it's just like we hear that. We used to hear that a lot after the Black Lives Matter things, and so that's why we personally, as a company, have been trying to be more inclusive with the women and and more Asian people, and trying to make it different. And right now is the best time for young women photographers. So you're doing the right thing at the right time, which is good on you.
Oh yeah. I haven't really shown like I've shown people obviously,
I
but
love these. I think they're great.
thank you. Really the only thing that's holding me back between like, okay, like showing to publishers or trying to really like move and get it published is that I have a lot of negatives still I haven't touched or printed because I shot a lot of 6x17, so these big panoramas, and
Mhm.
I'm printing them at like 12x36. So it's just a pain. I have a lot to still print, and I'm going
What
back.
do you do besides photograph?
I'm a marketing manager. So I work in it's very different than photography, but
Where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in Hollywood, Florida, so South Florida.
Okay.
I used to
All
live in
right. So you know what? There's a lady I want you to talk to. She could give you some better advice about a book. Her name is Michelle Dunbar. She does Minor Matters books. It's a different concept because you have to end up coming up with the money to do the book. But publishing is very different right now anyway. So, but tell her I told you to call her
Okay,
and give you advice about your book because they're really, really good.
thanks. Do you
I love them.
you know Loose Joints by any chance?
Do I
That
know who?
Loose Joints?
Loose joint.
No.
They're a publishing company as well, but
Whatever it is, it sounds hip and cool for this
yeah,
stuff.
it's
Loose joints.
yeah, I would check them out. They're definitely my dream publisher because
Yeah,
they
you should, and you should hit them up, ask them about you. That's exactly what we should be doing is just going to them and saying, what should I do? This is my work. I want to get a book and then see what they say. You should be talking to publishers.
yeah, okay, thank you. That's good to
Yeah,
know.
no, I really love them. I think they're very refreshing and fun and happy and I love them. And
Thank you.
enter the Leica Women Photo Project anyways, even though you have a camera, it's just enter it. It's next year though. You missed this year, but I would enter that.
Okay, will do. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, stay in touch with me, okay?
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Now we're going to look at the work of Adam Klaus.
Aw, I love that.
Yay.
Okay, another good book. Oh, looks like my disco.
Oh, I know.
Okay, well, I'm a sucker for these already.
Yeah. Adam, why don't you tell us about your project and what you're looking to hear?
Sure. So I have a studio here in LA, and this is mostly client work. Some of it is adoption photos that we work with
Have I
agency.
met you?
Yeah, I'm friends with Matt. I met you a
Okay, I
couple
thought,
weeks ago.
wait, Matt Stewart?
Matt Vaca.
Matt Falco, what, you were just in here, you shot Barbara's dog.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, I love that. Yeah, no, I have to bring disco in. I'm like, wait, I know you. I love these.
Thank you. Yeah, this is what we do. My wife and I run the business together, and we've been open for about a year now or so. And I really want to do a gallery show somewhere. We do a lot of fine art shows.
What are you shooting on? The camera.
So these are a mixture of the Sony A7R5, and I recently got the GFX Fuji. But autofocus is so critical in this, and Sony
I
is
love them. Well, everybody loves animals and so okay, I wanted so I can't show anything here unless it's Leica, but I've been wanting to do a charity event. I've been wanting to do a dog show. I was gonna do something with Peter Fetterman because he had all the Elliot Erwitt vintage dog photos. We were gonna try to do something because all these awful people that rescued dogs during COVID, once they got their jobs back or whatever, they took the dogs back to the rescue place. I've never heard of something so insane. Like, who does that after having a dog in your family for a year and a half? You take the dog back. I just am like, oh my God. So there was highest rate of killing these, killing the animals. And I'm just like, oh, I can't hear. So I wanted to do something for charity, but that doesn't mean I can't do it somewhere else because I do pop-ups. Since you're in LA, I do pop-ups here. I'm obsessed with these. They're so cute.
Thank you.
But you know me, I'm a sucker for dogs. You knew to sign up with me, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt tipped me off, actually. He let me
You
know about
knew.
this.
Okay, I'm glad he did. Okay, I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to see these. Well, we
So
have.
yeah, the one that was just up, that was a dog from this rescue we work with. We
That
do
looks like disco.
Yeah, we do a calendar contest with them, and last year we raised like $21,000 for the rescue.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, this dog has like all kinds of problems. It's called a purposeful rescue. and they do a lot of dogs that are like senior, have medical issues, that kind of stuff. And so,
Yeah. Okay,
um,
so you want to do a show, so what are you thinking? Like, you want to do an art show? So I think, is this dog winking or missing an eye?
that's the cat is missing an eye.
I
Yeah.
mean, the cat, sorry, I'm so tired.
Good. All good. Yeah.
That's sad. It needs a little
yeah.
eye patch.
I know. That cat was
Needs a little
something.
pirate patch. Oh, they're just so good. I love them.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
well,
is
I mean,
dog for
I
adoption.
want to help you try to do something with them just because I love animals so much, but it doesn't have to be here. I can't show it here anyways because it's not Leica. But I'm wondering
did-
where we could do some kind of charity. What about, I wanted to partner with Lisa Vanderpump because she has that dog store on 3rd.
Mhm.
Huh?
Yeah, I did just buy a Q3.
Did you? You need to
yeah.
start shooting with the Q3. How did Franny's photos come out?
Franny was a very difficult subject, but I'm happy with what we got in the end. But that's what keeps this exciting, you know. I mean, a dog on Seamless it could be very boring, and every dog is so unique and so different.
I'm gonna bring Disco in. I have to have a photo with him.
Absolutely.
Not with him, of him. Oh my, I just love these. Okay, these are so cute. I love what you're doing. Well,
Thank-
I'll try to help you however I can. I've been wanting to do a dog charity.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, we're my wife and I run the studio full time, so we're always looking for good partners to kind of do
Yeah.
something. All these dogs.
So Matt did really good. This is another thing for everyone to think about is that Matt, he did a portfolio review with me here at Leica, and then he wasn't shooting on Leica. So, but I loved his work, and I told him, don't wait for a gallery, get your work out there, however you can get your work out there, wherever you could show it. And he took my advice and he went and joined the Beverly Hills Art Fair, right?
Mhm.
And sold a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then he also entered all the competitions. I told him the photo competitions, and then he won an honorable mention for the International Photography Awards. You also need to send these into the International Photography Awards. So do you, Nat.
I did just
All of
apply
you
last
should.
week.
You did? Did you win
Yeah.
something?
I mean, it was just submission was just last week. So
Okay, you'll probably
you know,
get something. Well, I'm jurying. So there's
yeah,
the
we did it.
International Photography Awards, there's the Refocus Awards, there's Photo Lucida, there's ASMP does photo awards. Like, it's a good way to research the photo awards, send in your images. It's a great way you can either win money, prizes, shows, cameras. It's just good it's good to get your name out there. You want people to hear you see your name out and about. That's also another good way to get into a gallery, is you get a following. People know who you are, your name keeps coming up, and then it's all helpful.
Yeah, and we're doing the Beverly Hills Art Show again. We've done it twice before, and then we're
I
doing.
love that. I love them. They're so cute. You should do a book too.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think you should do a book and then have try to partner with a charity, an animal shelter, or some kind of, PETA or somebody, to get them to help you fund the book.
Okay.
Research some
Yeah,
animal rescue places, and some people that have a little bit of money that can put some money behind getting you the book, PETA. I think
Yeah.
that would be a really, really good book, because people are obsessed with animals.
Yeah, anytime we do a show, it's always like a line out the door to talk.
I know, they're so cute. I love these. These really made me happy. These make me happy. Just so you know, everybody, these make me happy. I needed to see these pictures. It made me happy. Not that I'm not happy, but happier, I should say. Thank you for sharing these, Adam. You can come and see me whenever,
I appreciate that, Paris.
I want to
Thank
bring Disco in. So Franny was a bitch.
you. Well,
She was a
those are
bitch. She's
your
a
words.
female dog. I could
Your
say
words, not mine. Yeah,
that. Well,
she
her
just.
mom was a little difficult. So the dogs are like their owners.
It's her mom. So she said, probably 20 minutes in, she goes, "Oh my God, photographing dogs is so hard." And I said, "Is it harder than photographing a war?" And she was like, "I don't know about that." But it was pretty close. We were neck and neck.
My dog's not hard to
stubborn.
photograph. My dog's been photographed by Eli Reed, Ralph Gibson, Julian Lennon, Nikki Sixx, Lenny Kravitz. I told you this, right?
Yeah.
He's been photographed by every photographer that's walked in that door.
Well,
thanks for sharing. I'm glad I got to see what you do. That was smart of Matt to tell you to sign up.
he's a smart
I
guy.
like your sneaky ways, Adam.
Thanks, Paris. Appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, no, come see me whenever you want.
All right, thanks, Paris.
Okay.
Okay, our last artist this evening is Kevin Hoff.
Oh.
And let us pull up his work. And Kevin, why don't you tell us about this project and then what you would like to hear from Paris?
Okay, sure. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can.
awesome.
Can
So
everybody
I
hear us?
can, yes.
thanks, Atlanta, for doing this. I used to live in Athens, so I have a sweet
Oh,
spot.
I love it. That's where my favorite band's from, the B-52s.
I used to run into Michael Stipe at art openings.
Oh,
which
I'm
is-
like upset. I've seen them since I was 15 years old. I've been going to their concerts.
Yeah.
Devo's coming here in next week, Friday. We're selling some Devo prints, and then they're coming to sign the prints, and so they'll be here at the gallery next Friday night.
I saw that. They're one of my favorite bands.
Are they?
Yeah, I love Devo.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this, Paris. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I know this is at the end, so I'm sure you're tired, but appreciate
No, I'm good.
the feedback, and love seeing everybody else's work. Really strong stuff. So I am based outside of Boulder, Colorado. I'm a professor, but anyway, this project is called Everywhere and All at Once. I started this project in 2011 or so, and I've done a bunch of different kinds of projects. I do actually a lot of multimedia work with instant film collage. So this is just kind of one of my long-term projects. I've mostly finished it, to be honest. My goal is to do like a coffee table book and have an exhibition of like a whole bunch of the images. I've shown a bunch of them at the gallery that I show with in Denver. I've shown them a bunch, but I've kind of come back to them after a little bit of a hiatus to try to finish up this project. And so basically the way it started was, I'm a nature guy. I go out hiking a lot. I go on road trips. I go to a lot of national parks, and I've always felt kind of limited by the singular vantage point of the camera. And so what I started to do was bring a mirror with me, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And then it clicked into place when I realized I could connect geological features in front of me with those that were behind me. So the circle that you're seeing is actually a mirror, and so everything that's inside that circle is behind me. And I've shot these all over the U.S. I've done some. I did a couple in Brazil, but they didn't turn out quite as well. But this was kind of a hard, to make the selection down to 10. But yeah, they're shot, kind of Mojave Desert, Death Valley. The first ones were from Colorado. This one is from actually Joshua Tree, this rock.
Where's your gallery in Denver?
It's called Walker Fine Art. It's
That's cool. You're in a gallery. You know what? I think these are very sellable.
Yeah, I wish my gallery could sell them.
Well, things are kind of weird right now. I don't know what's happening. It's been a weird. How big are they printed?
So they're 28 by 42.
28 by 42?
Yeah.
And how are you framing them?
I basically print them on Hahnemühle photo rag, and then they're mounted to dye bond or acrylic, and then I do them in a float frame without any glass.
Nice.
They look really great.
I love them. I think these are super cool. I think these are I'm very interested in mixed media right now. I'm trying to see what's working with that, because we're very singular at this gallery, but I like these a lot. I think that, did you just get to this gallery? What, they're not selling? I don't know why they're not selling. They're cool.
They just have too big of a roster. So no, I've been with them for 6 years, and they just don't sell much photography.
What camera are you using?
It's been a couple of them. I always use a full frame, but my most recent camera is a Sony A7R3.
I miss hiking. All our mountains burned down here. I used to hike a lot. We don't have any mountains right now. I think these are great. I think that I could see these doing really, really well in gallery. Reach out to. I wish I could sell them. They're not like. I think there's a market for this work, and This would do really great in the Palm Springs galleries. You're already in, I was gonna say Aspen, but you're already in, so Colorado, I could see this doing really well in, I'm thinking where there's like, where there's galleries that where nature stuff does way better than LA does, but I mean, maybe like Malibu galleries, but again, our gallery's burnt down there, but when it gets better, there's some good galleries in Malibu. Where I'm thinking like
Santa Fe?
Park City, Utah. Park City has a lot of, what'd you say?
Santa Fe?
Santa Fe for sure. Santa Fe's got a big art market. I think these would do that. Thank you. I mean,
go to
yeah,
LA.
no, Santa Fe for sure. Like wherever there's like oh, where'd they go? Where'd you go? Where'd I go? Wherever there's a market for, I mean, wherever there's like where there's nature. So I always think of, Salt Lake City, Park City, Utah, where there's money, Sedona, that's where you should go. Sedona. I heard they're selling a ton of art in Sedona right now. The art market's really good in Sedona. I don't have any connections there, but I have artists there that are doing well and I can ask around, but start sending this out to galleries where they're big on the nature, that's where this will do. For sure, Park City and Sedona and Santa Fe.
Yeah,
Like
those are good.
that's another thing, everyone. Target your art market. So things I don't sell, there's things I sell here, it wouldn't do good in Miami. It wouldn't, somebody that sold like a ton of stuff in our Seattle gallery, it doesn't do great here in LA. So you have to kind of target your market. Seattle might also be a good place. It's kind of naturey, but I'm for sure Sedona, Park City, Utah, they have lots of beautiful galleries there. And I heard they sell a lot of work in Texas too, like Austin, Texas has a lot of nice galleries. But I would say Sedona and Park City, like start sending these out to galleries there and put your little, I'm sure you already have like a nice little package together and just get it out into other galleries. Very beautiful, very modern, very sellable, light, cool. Oh, Palm Springs for sure. Palm Springs, all those, this would do great, Palm Springs. So there's, you're doing a great job. You don't need my advice. You just need the right galleries to sell it at.
Okay. Yeah,
I like what you're doing.
So
I think it's great.
I've been frustrated with my gallery, so it's good to hear some other options.
Well, no, you can't. It's hard. It's kind of been weird everywhere. I heard they didn't even sell a lot of Art Basel. I don't know what's going on, but Freeze didn't do great here this year. But I think things are a little weird in the world right now. So people are scared to spend money at the moment, but they're always going to need art. So don't let that, but I mean, even just looking at it all together, it looks so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love them. I love them. They're great. Just target your market. You need to go into more galleries and also enter competitions, enter photo competitions, get your name out there. I can't really see good right now. And I'm so glad because I look like hell and I'm glad you guys can't see me really good right now. But from your little square on the TV, you remind me of Kevin Bacon. Have you heard that before?
That.
What?
He's a handsome dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to Kevin Bacon. Yeah, he is a handsome dude. Yeah, these are great. I like the whole nature aspect. I think they're great. Oh, so Sedona, okay. I just think they'd be an easy sell. And I love that. I was gonna say to print them on acrylic, and you already did. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So are you? I don't know why, but that one on the bottom right doesn't fit in. You know what would be cool? What you could do next time is get a triangular mirror.
So I kind of threw in that last one because I basically that's what I did. I transitioned to a square front surface.
Yeah, no, but if it would kind of, because I could kind of see a little bit of a triangle. But what if you used a triangle mirror?
Oh, okay. So I've used a square, so I sort of tilt it because I.
No, I think because this for whatever reason looks like a triangle to me.
Yeah. I
think a triangle, like a different shape a different shape in some of them would be interesting. A different shape mirror, even like a rectangle, a skinny rectangle.
I have a bunch of them that I shot with a rectangle that I just couldn't fit in, but
I don't know. I think, can you get a triangle? I think that for some reason a triangle would be cool.
yeah.
Cause this, and then that would just be adding like another element to it. I love it. You know what else you could do next is beaches.
Yeah, I do have some beach stuff shot actually kind of close to LA and also Big Sur.
Yeah, and then you could send those images to Big Sur, to Laguna, to, you know, LA, to Miami, to beach places. There's a
Right.
market in different, all the places, you know, every city has a different kind of market,
Right.
you know? I'm
Perfect.
really pleased with all the work I'm seeing today, by the way. Oh, here, good. Thank you for sending me that. And
Yeah,
did you have any more questions for me?
no, I'm good. I appreciate your feedback.
No, I love it. I think it's great. You know, you never know what you're going to see, but everything's been so good. Everyone did a really great job.
Awesome.
You know,
Um,
keep in mind, we have, you know, a lot of weird things going on in the world with COVID and weird things going on politically. And I think people are a little scared to spend money right now, but it shouldn't ever stop you from, working your art and doing, you know, putting it out there, but, and always just keep getting your name out there however you can. You want people to remember your name. What happened to Enrique Cortez?
Enrique and David are here to listen. They're not
Oh, okay.
presenting. They didn't sign up to present, but just to listen. And
Do they have any questions?
well, that's what I was going to say. We have a half an hour left. So if you're willing, Paris, we could open it up to questions. I ask that you raise your hand, and then we can take turns posing any questions to Paris that you guys might have. Okay, David.
Hey, Paris, only because I'm working on an artist statement, I'm wondering, as a curator, when you're looking at a whole body of work to curate pieces in, how do you use the artist statement?
I think the artist statement is really about you. It's not, it has nothing to do with me. It's really about how you're feeling about what you're presenting to the world. I love the artist statement, and so many people write some beautiful things. The artist statement's all about the artist. It doesn't have anything to do with how I curate it or how I see it. I see everything I'm so visual that I see everything as a story. So I don't, and I just try to lay it out that it makes sense as a story. So it tells a story. So the artist statement's really a personal thing for the artist. And for other people that might not know you, you want them to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, Quintavious.
Hey, so in terms of a body of work selling in various galleries, for instance, let's say I've got 15 pieces up in one gallery, and 7 of them sell. In terms of putting them in a new gallery or floating that body of work, you know, around, how important is that to other galleries to have like a fresh body of work, or does it matter?
No,
if
it's
there's
better
3 or
if they're
something?
it's better if they're getting that second of 15 image, because it shows
Mhm.
that you're selling. They want to get, like, you know what I mean? You're doing, I'm really right now into making smaller editions. I don't want to do 25 and 50 and 100 editions. I think it's better to keep the editions smaller. I think it's kind of the way a lot of the artists are going now. The kid that's up right now, he's 23 years old, Adelaide Shell. He's already been published in the New York Times, and he's only doing an edition of 3. Which and that's another thing, like the artist statement is completely up to the artist. It's a personal decision. Jim Marshall, one of the greatest rock and roll photographers ever, he didn't have any editions. It was open. He just wanted everyone to have his photography. That's a personal thing. But I think keeping the editions smaller, and I think I mean, I'm happy when I take a photograph and it's like 15 to 20. I think I'm like, okay, this one will sell. I'm going to sell 16 here. You know, it just looks good. It means you're selling.
Right. Okay. Appreciate it.
And you should be going around to other galleries with the body. I don't think it's not the time in the art world to just be exclusive to one gallery, because everyone needs to make money. Artists are struggling. Everybody's, people struggling artists. You want to make money. You want people to collect. You want people to have your work. You go wherever they will hang your art. You don't ever be exclusive to one gallery. I wouldn't even ever ask someone to do that with me. Anything else?
I have a question.
Okay.
On that subject, what about an artist who wanted to show in the same market, someone else in LA or,
No, that at the same time.
not at the same time, but like say in the same year, within the same year?
I
How
don't
would
think
you feel
that's,
about
nobody
that?
wants to do that. No gallery wants to show what another gallery just showed like 6 months ago. That's a big
Right.
no-no. You
Yeah,
want to
so-
let it breathe, or you have to have like, you can, the only way that you could do that is if it was two totally different series,
Mhm.
But I'm doing a show in 2027 with Sylvie Bloom. She's getting ready to show with David Fahey, with Fahey Klein this year, because he helped her do her book, helped to put her new book out. So she's going to go with him first, and I totally get it because he helped, get her book going. And then when she comes here, it's with a whole entirely different body of work that she's shooting on an SL3 system. So, because you have to shoot with Leica, a Leica Gallery LA, or at least has to be 80% Leica. Because I know a lot of photographers, they don't just use Leica. A lot of people don't want to use Leica. A lot of people can't afford Leica. A lot of people are really happy with whatever they're using. It's not, but for here, because it's such a brand with the camera, we have to show Leica here. I don't even have Leica. So I have a deluxe. So,
Yeah.
Polaroid one. I'm so for it.
Any more questions?
Well, I think what I just want everyone to know is that you just don't wait for anybody to get your work printed and hung somewhere. Just get it out there, and don't, it's not going to do anyone any good just sitting on your computer or at home. You want to use your connections that you have, that if you have friends that have a restaurant, a bar, a hair salon, a doctor's office, a dentist's office, they own a building, they own an apartment building, they have somewhere you can hang your art. Do it. Go get some prints out, ask them, can I put my art here? Some of you guys are lucky you already have a gallery, but don't wait for a gallery, get your work out there. That's what it's, you want people to see your work. If you don't want to do a gallery, you want to do a book, start getting on the phone with the publishers, just keep getting out there. And I think there's two people here that are going to have great books, but you don't want to sit around and wait till somebody tells you what to do. You need to do it. And don't, everybody here is good enough and should be having their artwork out there being seen and hung on walls and having people collect it and making someone happy with your work hanging in their home or office, get it out there.
Excellent. Oh,
Yes.
Matt.
I was wondering what your opinion is on, like, I know you've been talking a lot about galleries and a lot about books. What would you say the biggest difference is in terms of, like, let's say an artist, like, they could only do one, not that they should only do one, but let's say they only did one or one or the other. How would you say it's different in terms of who ends up seeing the work and how that work is received versus, like, they have a show up or they published a book with, let's say, a well-known photography publisher?
I think it's easier for an artist to get into a gallery if they present a book to the gallerist and then get a show from that. And I know a lot of, like I mentioned, Fahey Klein, they work that way. They want the book, they won't do a show without a book. I'm cool with it if you don't have a book. Not everybody's wants to do a book. So if I want to show the work, I love the work. I think I could sell it. I want to show it. Doesn't matter about the book to me, but I love when there's a book. It's just another vehicle to help sell the art, but so, but you sound like you're really focused first and foremost on a book, but that would only probably organically lead to art shows, if you have an art book.
Right. And I have one other question. With showing work, like I know when we're talking about galleries, like when I think of a gallery, especially like a Leica gallery, I think of like very clean, like it's pristine. We're showing like work in a very like like high level space, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what your opinion is about work that is shown like in maybe more unconventional slash public spaces. Like when I think about my Coney Island work, I do see it in like very pristine galleries. That's cool too. But I first and foremost, like I want it to be publicly shown at Coney Island or places that
You need to get in touch with Photoville. They do their stuff all over, but, you know, that's who you need to reach out to. Her name's Laura Romano. She's actually a friend of mine. I just saw her in New York, but I just did a huge art wall in Gansevoort Square. I did a whole big, they asked me to curate a wall that was with 56 artists. I had like, you know, Ralph Gibson, Nick, Lisa Moore, Brian Bowen Smith, all these different artists, and I curated this big, huge wall, and it was so awesome to have it out in a public space. And I was freaked out to see it. It was 16 feet wide by 8 feet tall, and it just ended up looking so cool. And then they had all the Photoville type squares that were on poles and bins and stuff outside. I love public art. I just got asked to do a Rencontre des Arles fair again, which is in Arles and Provence, and the whole entire town takes, so it's a very prestigious art fair. If any of you ever get a chance to go, it's incredible. It's this year's July 6th through the 13th, and there's art everywhere. At the bus stop, the bus chair, the churches, the restaurants, the windows, everywhere that these people can hang art, the whole photography. I mean, there's photography everywhere. And it's so cool, and it's all in public spaces, and I like doing. And your work would be very suitable for that kind of work. But I would reach out to Laura at Photoville if I were you.
my professor actually, she was like one of the best.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she have you out there? You're so good.
I don't know. I mean, I graduated in 2022, but she was definitely one of the most helpful classes I took. I should reach out to her. I haven't.
Laura?
Yeah,
She taught?
yeah, at NYU, she taught the business
I
of
didn't
art.
even know that.
Really amazing class about.
I could see your work on during Photoville. Are you talking to any galleries? Have you talked to any galleries?
I'm like fresh meat. I haven't talked to anyone.
No, I know. I want to try to help you. I like your work. I think it's good. I think it's really good. And I could see it doing really well at Photoville.
Oh, thank you. I'll send you a message on Instagram. You can keep my.
What is in the back of your head to do next after Coney Island?
I just moved back to South Florida where I'm originally from, and I'm now working on. I liked Coney Island work like where I'm kind of far away from people. I'm kind of doing more like I think of it as like a painting and the people are playing in it more so. But in Florida, I'm more interested a bit in portraits or in long-term documentary projects with people specifically. So like finding rural communities in Florida or just exploring the state more and showing more of it beyond just like what people think of Miami or like Florida man, like it's weird or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really a lot. I think
I lived in Surfside for 2 years.
I love Surfside. Yeah. It's Florida's a very underrated and I think underrepresented state. I don't think people really
For art it is, don't you think? Yeah, yeah, I think that's true.
So I just started that, but I'm kind of working on that, trying to explore my home state more and
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
You know, in Florida at the new college, which was their big design school, art school, they turned it into a Christian school.
A what school?
Christian.
They
turned it into a religious school. The governor came in and shut it down and made it decided it was too woke and too liberal and shut it down pretty much. But the Ringling School of Design is still in Sarasota, so
yeah,
that's still.
I thought it was a weird place to live personally. I don't know. I couldn't. I loved the water and the ocean, but other than that, it was not my jam.
But I almost went to New College for photography when I was leaving. I was at Georgia State in photography, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go to New College, and I never did get down there.
Did you raise your hand, Kevin?
Yeah, I just had a question about, you're talking about going to specific art fairs and stuff like that. I think I might be going to Perry. I have a friend that goes to Perry Photo every year.
Oh, it's so amazing.
And I really want to go. It's sort of I'm a teacher, so it's the middle of my semester. But do you think it's really valuable? Obviously, like just a lot of hobnobbing and meeting people. And
I think Arl's more interesting if you're like Arl is just so cool if you love photography. I think it's worth going. No, I think anything you could do to expand your creativity and just be in that world is helpful. I don't think it's hobnobbing and but going to I think it's worth it for sure. Yes, Q.
So how important is social media, I guess, to the gallery world? I know in marketing.
Unfortunately, very, and I wish
Yeah.
it wasn't. I mean, I only went on Instagram during COVID because my company made me get on Instagram. I didn't even have Instagram. And I didn't even know how to do it. And they're like, you need to do a live video right now. I'm like, what? I don't want this. I want to. So I just got on Instagram. 2020 was a long time ago, like mid 2020. They're like, you need to start doing live things on Instagram, but from what I understand from the sales of some of my photographers that they're selling on Instagram, I would say it's very important.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, because I'm kind of
Yeah.
sick of it personally. I love
Well,
it
see,
and
I
I
know
hate
from
it.
a
I don't
marketing
know. I don't know
standpoint.
what's that?
Well, I know from a marketing standpoint, it's like if I use a certain
It's part
camera.
of marketing. It's part of the
Mhm.
way people are marketing now.
Yep.
I think it's
Mhm.
very important. Does anyone else think it's important? Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, but I dislike it as much as you do. But
I wish it would. I know. I just keep thinking. I wonder if it'll ever go away. And I don't know. I think it's. Let's just put it this way. One of the managers at Leica decided to shut down his Instagram page and his Facebook page. Just like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to shut it down. And our marketing team called him and said, you need to put that back up and start posting stuff. So I
interesting.
think it's important.
Noted.
Yeah, you need to be, it's another way for people to see your art and know your name and market yourself. It's free
I asked
marketing.
because I noticed there's a lot of people, like I've got a pretty sizable following on social media and what have
Yeah.
you, but I've also noticed that a lot of my favorite photographers have almost none.
Well, I don't want to judge anybody by that. And please all feel free to email me at paris.chong@leica-camera.com. But I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I think it is important.
Noted.
So it's Quintavious.
Quintavious.
Wow, that's such a Roman sounding name.
Yep, I was my mother's fifth kid.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
I hope, how many siblings do you have?
I got 4 siblings. I've never actually met my biological family, so
Oh.
technically it's just me, but my biological mom named me Quintavious. So I got
And
2 sisters, they're twins, and
how old are your
two brothers.
daughters? How old are your daughters?
My daughter is 14.
Oh,
Mm.
good for you.
Indeed. She actually helped me curate an exhibition for the Atlanta Photography Group
I love
last
that.
year. Mhm.
she's a very, very smart young lady.
Well, she has a cool dad.
I like to think so. I'm cool. Dad.
The hardest job in the world, isn't it, Hugh?
Oh yeah, parenting, there's no roadmap for this stuff.
I know every time my son was like 13, I'm like, yay, he's still alive. Yay,
True
he
story.
made it to 13. And then people are
True
like, what is
story.
that supposed to mean? This is hard. I don't know what I'm doing. Raising
Yeah.
a son, yikes.
Just rolling the dice every day.
Yeah, I don't know how to raise it. I didn't know how to raise a man.
Fair enough. I
did
mean,
though.
I got lucky though. I married a school teacher this past New Year's Eve.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good,
She
good for
is
you.
a great balance.
That's good. I love it. I'm glad that you're married now. And I'm excited to see Devo next weekend.
Word.
That'll be fun. All right, any other questions? Well, Paris, it has been a real joy. I can't believe that you just flew in yesterday from the East Coast, and even with jet lag and
Oh, that's not
technical
even the
problems.
bad part. It's not even that I flew in from New York because it's not that bad, but it was every single night was an event for Leica because it was 100 years. So Thursday night was our 100 years opening at the Leica meatpacking store with Bruce Davidson and Sarah Messenger. And then Friday night was and Ralph Gibson and Lori Anderson and Andy Summers from the Police, all Leica shooters. They did a performance at the Whitney. Then Saturday night was a dinner at the Whitney. And then there was a concert with Jason Momoa that I actually got on stage and sang with Jason Momoa's band Purple Rain. Okay. Give me champagne, I'll do anything. And then Sunday, I had an artist talk at the Gansevoort. I curated some art at the Gansevoort Hotel in the Meatpacking District. And I did an artist talk with Matthew Bouton, Cherise May, and Terry LaRue. So, and then flew home. So it was like every single night was something. So it wasn't even like it was just craziness. And that's okay though. I did it.
You did it, and then you did this evening,
Yeah, no, and I do these all the time. I love doing portfolio reviews. You never know I mean, I've met so many incredible artists and it helps me to help you,
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And I hope everyone liked the advice. And I'm here if you need me at Leica Gallery LA. I'm always here. I
Wonderful.
live here, going on 11 years.
Well, thank you. And if you're ever in Atlanta, please come by the gallery.
I want to go to Atlanta one of these days. Like I said, I've only been there the one time, and I just remember it being really cool, really awesome, except very humid.
There is that. Yeah, we can't change that.
Yeah.
Sorry. But
Well,
there
thank
is
you
air
everybody for
conditioning.
signing up. Thank you so much. It means so much.
All right. Bye-bye. And everybody, thank you for coming.
And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your mothers. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.